What is going on, everybody? My name is Kneeckoh, and welcome back to another Pokemon Scarlet and Violet video. Today, we need to talk about the Greninja raids. I said I was going to do an updated video on this once, we had more time to kind of think about it. The initial video was just me kind of spitballing ideas on what could be good, but it seems like a lot of people are kind of leaning towards Acid Spray setup like we did with Cinderace. So I kind of wanted to build more special attackers and kind of talk about good special attackers that would be really nice for this particular raid. So if this is your first time here on the channel, make sure you are subscribed for more videos like this in the future, and leave a comment below on what Pokemon you plan to bring to the Greninja raids. But let's get into it. So Greninja. If they follow the same trend that they have been following, right? If they follow the trend that, Charizard was a special attacker because Charizard has a higher base special attack. Cinderace was obviously a physical attacker. This, because it has higher physical attack, this has higher special attack. This should be a special attacker if they follow that trend, right? So assuming that, we can assume like Water Shuriken is going to be, people thought this was a physical move. This is a special move. Water Shuriken will be on this. It's possible that we see something like Dark Pulse. And then in terms of poison, everybody's like, oh, it doesn't have a special attacking poison type. Yes, it does. It's called Tera Blast. It's a new move in Scarlet and Violet. It's gonna have Tera Blast more than likely to have its poison type, much like Charizard had Tera Blast to get off its why can I not think? Charizard had Tera Blast to get off its Dragon type. But then in terms of the last couple moves, it's kind of up in the air. It has been seen that these Pokemon do have more than 4 attacks, right? So it's likely that, we get Rain Dance on this perhaps. And the final move is going to be something like Ice Beam or something like that. Or it could even have a couple extra moves. It's got a pretty deep move pool, but a lot of physical attacks are mixed in there. But again, I think it's going to lean more toward this. And Ice Beam is the most likely scenario, right? I think it's going to be very likely that we see Ice Beam. And a lot of Pokemon are weak to Ice Beam. And a lot of these Pokemon are built with the idea that we don't know the movesets. That's the big thing. We thought a lot of stuff was going to be good into Cinderace. And then once we saw how Cinderace played, we changed up a lot of the Pokemon that we were running. So a lot of these could change, but all of these are built towards special attacking. So let's talk about a couple of them. Now, I'm going to start at the bottom because I feel like the bottom is where this list is really good, and then it kind of changes. So all of these Pokemon is worth noting that are running like max HP, max special defense, and 4 special attack, right? Because everything is kind of playing toward the idea that we're going to be using Acid Spray a lot to weaken this and then use a bunch of special attacks. It's just kind of what we did with Cinderace, and it worked very well. All of these also have a calm nature to maximize your special defense and also lower your attack, because we want the higher special attack for this. So the first one, it really doesn't matter what ability you decide to run on Toxtricity, because you're not super benefiting from any of them. I guess if you run Technician, your Snarl and your Acid Spray will do a bit more, but it doesn't really matter. So this is an Assault Vested Toxtricity, right? It's immune. It doesn't take a lot of damage from poison, and it doesn't really take a lot of damage from a lot of the other attacks that Greninja could potentially have, which is why this is so good. And after a couple Acid Sprays and you Tera, you're going to do a lot of work with this particular Pokemon with Thunderbolt, right? And then Nuzzle's there, obviously, you can get the paralysis, you can slow down Greninja a little bit. Really solid. So I think really what you want to come out the gate doing is hit a couple Snarls. Hit a Snarl, maybe 2, just depending on what move Greninja has. We always know that this Pokemon, whatever the raid is going to come out and it's going to do 1 attack right off the rip, right? Like Cinderace was using Bulk Up off the rip, that kind of thing. So we want to be mindful of that and kind of play around that. So if it goes for something that boosts its attack in some way, shape, or form, hitting it with a couple Snarls isn't going to be a bad thing. Then you can go for Acid Sprays to boost up your teammates, and then you can start rolling in with Thunderbolts. Because after you use 2 Snarls or 2 Acid Sprays and a Snarl, whatever combo you do, 3 attacks is what is required of you to actually get in and Terastallize. So after you do a couple of these and you set yourself up, you can Tera and hit Thunderbolts and do tons and tons of work. I think this is going to be a really solid option. It is kind of weak defensively, but I mean, once you throw all the points into it, you'll be able to handle yourself. Next up, I think a lot of people are sleeping on this one. Quagsire. I think Quagsire has a lot of potential. I know a lot of people are thinking about Clodsire here, but I think Quagsire has a lot of potential to be pretty good. For one, it gets water absorbed just like Clodsire does. You can run Soft Sand on this, max out the HP, max out the special defense, and you'll have 4 in the special attack. The reason I think this Pokemon is good, it's obviously much weaker in the special defense category than what Clodsire is, right? But the reason I think this Pokemon has so much potential is because it gets Acid Spray as well as Eerie Impulse, right? So you have so much capability. You don't have to Snarl twice. You go in and use 1 Eerie Impulse, and that Pokemon, boom, -2 special attack, right? That's very, very big for weakening that opposing Pokemon. You have access to Acid Spray, which is fantastic. Helping Hand is there. You can be more of a support and play around your team and like help them do more damage, because obviously your special attack stat isn't super high. But then you do also have Earth Power to do a bit more damage with Soft Sand, which is very, very nice as well. Next up is a little bit of a different route. You know, we've seen some ground types, so you see a lot of ground types up here. However, Psychic is also going to be very good into this particular Pokemon. So I have an Umbreon here with a Twisted Spoon. Again, the ability doesn't really matter too much here. But we have Light Screen, Psychic, Snarl, and Fake Tears, because much like Acid Spray, Fake Tears lowers the special defense by 2, which is absolutely huge. I think this is a really solid option. Much like you would with Toxtricity, you can go off immediately and you can start snarling a couple times, hit a couple Snarls, do a Fake Tears or 2, and then go in with Psychic, right? You can start doing some work, set your screens. You know, this Pokemon's a really good support option for helping out the team. I think it's a really, really solid bring, especially with how high its special defense is. I think this is a really, really valid option for going into this particular raid. Next up is Gastrodon, and I don't know how I really feel. I feel similarly about this that I do with Clodsire, where like, I feel better about Gastrodon than Clodsire personally. I know a lot of people are really excited about Clodsire here. I think Gastrodon is a better option, minus the fact that it does not get Acid Spray. But just in terms of like being able to handle this Pokemon, for when you have Storm Drain, you can get Soft Sand out. Again, you got pretty good HP and special defensive stats here. You run Earth Power. Mud Slap is something that I'm seeing a lot of people talk about because you can lower the accuracy of Greninja, which is kind of nice, especially with like Water Shurikens coming out. They may miss additional Water Shurikens because they have the lower accuracy, which is really cool. Then you have Amnesia to boost your special defense and Helping Hand. I don't think that this is going to be like a high hitting Pokemon, but after you have a couple other support Pokemon, like maybe Umbreon or any other Acid Spray user, you're going to be able to hit pretty hard with Earth Power, especially if it does use a Water Shuriken into you. It's going to raise your special attack, which is pretty cool. You could also opt to get rid of the Soft Sand and just run Ability Shield on this, so you never end up losing that Storm Drain, which I think is another valid option for this particular Pokemon. Finally, I have to talk about this because people really, really are excited about Clodsire. I think Clodsire is a fine Pokemon. The problem is if it does have Ice Beam, it gets kind of scary. This Pokemon does take those hits relatively well, especially if people are like cheering properly, and you know, you have a couple defense cheers and stuff like that up, and you have people snarling, doing things like that. Clodsire is still a valid option, right? It's still good. It's kind of just weak. And we don't have a lot of really strong, hard-hitting Pokemon into this. So it's kind of interesting to think about Clodsire. I think Clodsire is, again, a valid option. You can bring Clodsire. I think it'll do fine. I just don't know if it's 110% the best option that everybody thinks it's going to be. I still think it's good. You can bring it. I don't know. It's not my favorite on this list. And then I left this at the very end because I don't think this is the strongest by any means. I think this is a pretty weak option. But if you wanted to spice things up, maybe you have a shiny Skuntank that you wanted to use, and you want its moment to shine, this is it. So I have a Citrus Berry on this with 252, obviously 252 and 4. This is exclusively a support Pokemon. You are running Snarl, Acid Spray, Helping Hand, and Sunny Day. Sunny Day is another move that you could work onto some other Pokemon, and it's going to be pretty nice actually, because you're able to set up the sun and boost. You're able to boost the damage if you do have a fire type. I don't know why you'd be bringing that to this, but like say you wanted to run a fire move on Skuntank, you'd boost the amount of damage that you're doing with that, but you're weakening the water type attacks, which is like the big thing against this. You don't want those Water Shurikens to hit that hard. Sunny Day is a great option, especially because it's kind of likely that this has like Rain Dance or something. It's kind of likely that happens. If you think about like Charizard having Sunny Day, it would make sense that Greninja would have Rain Dance to set up. So having this to kind of counter that is kind of fun. If you are looking for something a little more spicy, Skuntank is an option simply because it has Snarl and Acid Spray. You're able to weaken it by lowering the special defense, and then also weaken its attacks, and then just help the rest of the team do their thing with Helping Hand over and over. And then once it resets stats, just kind of reset and do the same thing. I think this is a fun, kind of goofy, off-brand option. There are other valid Pokemon that I think will be good. I just want to briefly touch on this. Hydreigon could be good. Again, if there's Ice Beam, this is bad. But like earth power on this is pretty solid. Another Pokemon that resists a lot from this Pokemon would be Rotom. Rotom could be really cool with like Nasty Plot and stuff like that. What else does this get? Nasty Plot. You could Thunder Wave if you want. Does this get? It probably doesn't get Nuzzle, right? Oh, it does get Sunny Day. That's kind of cool. I kind of like that. What else does this get? Light Screen. There you go. And then you could run like Thunderbolt. Boom. There you go. Really solid Pokemon in that regard. And then you could do the same thing here. Max that HP out, and then go for there. Pretty much you're always going to build them like this. Again, if this does happen to be like a physical attacker for whatever reason, just swap over the stats, right? Just boop, like that. What else could be good into this? I've seen some people actually talk about Lucario, and I think Lucario has some viability here. If you do, you could put Justified on it, right? I guess it doesn't matter because you're not running physical attacking Lucario here, right? You're going to be maxing that special attack out. So like 252, not special attack. You want to be maxing out special defense, but like this, you're going to be focusing on that because you can Calm Mind up and then use Psychics. It's going to actually be a half decent Pokemon. Once you get that going, and then like what else would you run on this? There's like a handful. You could run like Sunny Day. I think it gets Sunny Day access, and then I think it even gets like Life Dew or something. Like Life Dew could be interesting. Like Lucario could be a half decent Pokemon into this particular setup. So there's a bunch of Pokemon that could work here. It's just really going to come down to what the moveset is. But I hope this video gave you some ideas on what to do when this particular raid drops. I really enjoy these 7-star raids, and I really enjoy theory crafting these builds for you guys. It's a lot of fun. So if you enjoy it as well, please leave a like and a comment and all that fun stuff. It really helps the channel out a lot. But if you did enjoy the video, be sure to subscribe for daily Pokemon content from me. Also be sure to check out the Discord with people over there playing Pokemon and like raiding, doing all that fun stuff. Check that out as well. And if you want to see more from me, check out this video where I use this really awesome ranked 1 rain team on the ladder with Floatzel, and it was absolutely crazy. Check that out. And then also check out this video where I talk about Iron Hands and how to counter it on the ladder, because Iron Hands is actually really popular right now, and for good reason. It's a very good Pokemon, so check that video out as well. But until next time, peace.